We've laughed, cried, and shared countless tea breaks with the Crawleys. But behind the grand halls of Downton Abbey lies a world of secrets, scandals, and stories even the most devoted fans may not know. Was Downton Abbey based on a real family? Why did the costumes smell worse than the servants' gossip? And what really made Dan Stevens walk away from one of TV's most beloved dramas? Let's uncover the truth. And you might never see Downton Abbey the same way again. A world built from history. The Crawleys may be fictional, but their world was built from very real history. The series captures the early 20th century, from the Titanic tragedy to World War I and the Spanish flu, weaving global events into personal stories. Creator Julian Fellowes insisted that everything, from dialogue to table manners, felt authentic. He once explained that historical accuracy was non-negotiable, because even if audiences didn't know the period, they had to believe it. But Downton Abbey didn't just mirror history, it revealed the social walls that divided it. The show exposed the unspoken rules of class, loyalty, and status that shaped both the grand family upstairs and the tireless staff below. Every character, from Lord Grantham to the lowliest footman, was caught in a world built on hierarchy. And few faced harsher realities than Thomas Barrow, whose struggles reflected a truth society refused to face. Being gay in early 20th century England was a criminal offense. His bitterness and fear weren't fiction. They were echoes of a painful reality for countless real men of that era. Meanwhile, even the noble family's storylines were grounded in fact. Before the series began, we learned that Robert Crawley married Cora not for love, but for her fortune. It sounds cold, but such unions were common. Aristocrats often had titles and land but little money, while wealthy Americans had cash but no titles. Their marriages were transactions, survival disguised as romance. And as times changed, so did the scandals. In the upcoming Downton Abbey finale, Lady Mary faces a new kind of social exile: divorce. In the 1920s, divorce carried deep shame, especially for women of her rank. It could strip away one's reputation and even threaten their right to inheritance. The Crawleys, once symbols of tradition, had to adapt or fade into history, just as countless real aristocratic families did. As Lord Grantham once said, "The world is changing. The way we live, the way we dress, the way we deal with each other." He was right. And the Crawleys were living proof. The real Downton Abbey. Now let's step through those familiar doors, into the real Downton Abbey. The show's magnificent backdrop wasn't a studio creation. It was filmed at Highclere Castle, a real English estate that still houses George and Fiona Herbert, the 8th Earl and Countess of Carnarvon. Its 100,000 square foot grandeur has hosted more than Downton Abbey. It's appeared in The Secret Garden, Jeeves and Wooster, and even Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. But Highclere isn't just beautiful. It's haunted. The castle's own staff whisper about the spirit of a former housekeeper who still wanders the halls, her ghostly presence marked by the faint jingle of keys at her waist. Even Lady Carnarvon once admitted that the opening scene, where Mrs. Hughes walks through the house carrying her keychain, gave her chills. During filming, the cast and crew practically moved in. They worked 13-hour days, living among real antiques while the Carnarvons themselves unlocked doors at dawn and shut down the castle at night. And not everything went smoothly. On the very first day of shooting, a lighting boom fell and damaged part of the set. Instead of fixing it, the team decided to leave it. Downton, after all, had its imperfections, just like the family who lived there. Several characters were inspired by real members of the Carnarvon family. Lady Grantham, for instance, drew inspiration from Lady Almina Carnarvon, a banker's daughter who married into the aristocracy. Her dowry saved Highclere from financial ruin, the real-life version of Cora Crawley's story. While the upper floors were filmed inside the castle, the servants' quarters were not. The real basement was too cramped and deteriorated to fit cameras, so production rebuilt it perfectly on a soundstage. Even that detail mirrored the divide between upstairs and downstairs. One world built for luxury, another rebuilt from scratch. When fiction meets fate, Downton Abbey became known for its elegance, but also its heartbreaks. And few moments shocked audiences more than Sybil's death in season 3. Fans were devastated, but behind the scenes it was all part of an unavoidable reality. Actress Jessica Brown Findlay's contract had ended, and she decided to pursue new opportunities. As one producer later said, it wouldn't have happened if her agent hadn't been so good. Then came another blow, Matthew Crawley's death, one of television's most unexpected exits. Viewers demanded answers. Why would the show kill its romantic lead at his happiest moment? The truth was simple. Dan Stevens chose to leave. In the UK, actors often signed shorter contracts, usually 3 years, and when his time was up, he wanted new challenges. He later explained, "Doing a long-running TV series was amazing, but I needed to keep myself challenged and entertained." The writers hadn't planned his departure, but they had no choice but to write Matthew out, dramatically. Yet even with 2 major losses, Downton Abbey only grew stronger. The season 4 premiere shattered records, drawing more than 10 million viewers in the UK alone. That resilience, turning tragedy into triumph, is what made Downton Abbey timeless. The casting secrets: every great show starts with perfect casting, and Downton Abbey almost missed some of its stars. Casting director Jill Trevellick revealed that Maggie Smith, Hugh Bonneville, Michelle Dockery, and Dan Stevens were all the first choices, a rarity in television. But one role caused debate: John Bates, the loyal valet. Julian Fellowes had seen actor Brendan Coyle in North and South and knew he was ideal. But the network hesitated because Coyle had appeared in a competing period drama. Fellowes fought for him and won. Today, it's impossible to imagine anyone else in that role. Laura Carmichael, who became Lady Edith, almost didn't audition at all. She was performing in a touring production of Twelfth Night and had another theater job lined up. She nearly turned down the chance, convinced she wouldn't land the role. And yet, that one choice changed her life. And here's a what-if for the ages. Gillian Anderson, yes, from The X-Files and The Crown, was offered the role of Cora Crawley. Imagine Downton Abbey with her as the Countess of Grantham. Each casting twist feels like fate, and somehow, everything fell perfectly into place. The secret life of the costumes, no discussion. Of Downton Abbey is complete without mentioning its breathtaking costumes. Designer Anna Robbins led a team that turned fabric into history. Many of the gowns were built using authentic period materials, sometimes even scraps of century-old fabric. Every lace, button, and bead told a story. Who wore it, where they went, and what it meant. But beauty came at a cost. There was one rule on set that every actor dreaded: no washing the costumes. That's right. The stunning dresses and suits that looked pristine on screen often smelled less glamorous. Actress Sophie McShera, who played Daisy, once admitted that the team used removable fabric pads under the arms to absorb sweat instead of cleaning the garments. The goal? To preserve the fragile vintage textures. It worked. The costumes stayed authentic. But the price was authenticity you could smell. The cast also faced another challenge: corsets. The women's wardrobe required them to be tightly laced for hours. It was a nightmare, one actor said. You have to learn how to breathe differently. They couldn't sit comfortably and sometimes couldn't even eat. Michelle Dockery said her favorite outfits were the riding ensembles, stylish but torturous because of the tall boots with endless hooks. Despite the discomfort, the results were breathtaking. Each costume was a window into the changing times, from Edwardian restraint to the freer spirit of the Jazz Age. Even the clothes told a story of transformation, just like the Crawleys themselves, legacy of an empire on screen. Downton Abbey wasn't just another period drama. It became a cultural phenomenon. Its attention to detail, emotional depth, and seamless blend of fiction and history created a world that felt real. Behind every polished dinner scene was a world of effort, historical consultants, real families watching filming in their home, actors suffering in corsets, and writers balancing love and loss. It's that balance between grandeur and humanity that keeps fans coming back. The Crawleys remind us that no matter how much the world changes, class, pride, and love will always collide in unpredictable ways. From the haunted halls of Highclere to the unforgettable farewells of Sybil and Matthew, Downton Abbey endures because it's more than a show. It's a reflection of who we were and who we've become. So, next time you hear that familiar theme and see the sun rise over the estate, remember, beneath the polished silver and perfect manners, Downton Abbey's greatest secret was always its heart.